The Iron Wolves Motorcycle Club had gathered at their old roadside clubhouse for their annual summer rally. Bikes lined the gravel parking lot, engines growling as riders arrived from different states. Inside, loud music played while members shared stories and drinks. Late in the afternoon, a lone biker rolled into the parking lot on a weathered black motorcycle. His leather vest looked old, and his gray beard suggested decades on the road. He parked quietly away from the crowd and entered the clubhouse without saying a word. Several younger club members noticed him immediately. What caught their attention were the faded tattoos covering his arms and neck. The ink looked old-fashioned and worn compared to the modern artwork most bikers wore. "Looks like Grandpa got his tattoos from a prison catalog in the 70s, one young rider joked. His friends laughed. Maybe he got lost on the way to a retirement home. The old biker simply nodded politely and sat alone at a table near the wall. The teasing continued throughout the evening. Some members whispered and laughed whenever they passed him. Others mocked his worn leather jacket and ancient motorcycle. Yet the stranger never reacted. He remained calm, quietly observing the room. What nobody noticed was that several older members kept glancing at him with puzzled expressions, as if trying to remember where they had seen him before. As the sun began to set, the club president announced that the annual founders ceremony would begin after dinner. The old biker slowly smiled for the first time. As preparations for the ceremony started, a confident young member named Tyler approached the stranger's table. Tyler was known for his attitude. He had won several riding competitions and believed he represented the future of the club. "Hey, old-timer," Tyler said loudly enough for everyone to hear. "Those tattoos must have some funny stories behind them." The room grew quiet. The stranger looked up. "Maybe they do." Tyler smirked. "Let me guess. You got them trying to impress people 50 years ago." Several riders laughed. The old biker studied Tyler for a moment before speaking. "Son, tattoos aren't for impressing people. They're reminders." "Reminders of what?" "People who sacrificed, roads traveled, friends buried." The answer briefly silenced the room. But Tyler wasn't finished. "If you're such a biker legend, why don't any of us know who you are?" The stranger leaned back in his chair. "That's because legends aren't supposed to introduce themselves." A few older members exchanged nervous glances. There was something familiar about the man's voice. Something important, yet nobody could place it. Tyler shook his head and walked away laughing. The stranger returned to quietly watching the room. As the founders' ceremony began, club officers carried out an old wooden chest kept in storage for decades. Inside were photographs, original club patches, and historical documents dating back to the Iron Wolves' earliest days. The club historian, an elderly member named Hank, carefully displayed the items. While explaining the club's history, Hank suddenly froze. His eyes were fixed on the stranger's arm. Visible beneath his rolled sleeve was an unusual tattoo. A wolf surrounded by a chain and a compass. Hank's face turned pale. "That's impossible," he whispered. The room turned toward him. "What is it?" asked the president. Hank pointed at the tattoo. "That symbol was never released publicly." Everyone stared. Hank continued. "It was created by the club's founder over 40 years ago. Only 5 original members ever wore it." Silence filled the clubhouse. The stranger slowly stood. Several older members began looking at him more carefully. The scar above his eyebrow. The weathered face. The calm confidence. Suddenly one retired member gasped. "No way." Another stood up. "Can it really be him?" The room became completely silent. The stranger said nothing, but his eyes revealed the truth. The club president looked stunned. "Sir, may I ask your name?" The old biker nodded. "Jack Mercer." The reaction was immediate. Several older members nearly dropped their drinks. One veteran biker removed his hat out of respect. A younger member whispered, "Who's Jack Mercer?" The president could barely speak. "He's the man who started this club." Shock spread across the room. Many younger riders had heard stories about Jack Mercer for years. According to club history, he had founded the Iron Wolves after returning from military service. He built the club around loyalty, brotherhood, and protecting fellow riders. His legendary rides and charitable work had become part of club tradition. Most members believed he had either passed away or disappeared long ago. Yet here he was, standing quietly among them, the same man they had mocked all afternoon. Tyler's face lost all color. He remembered every joke, every insult, every laugh. Jack looked around the room. "I didn't come here for recognition." Nobody spoke. "I came because I wanted to see what became of the family we built." Many members lowered their heads in embarrassment. Tyler slowly approached Jack. For the first time all day, he looked genuinely humbled. "I'm sorry," he said. "I judged you before I knew anything about you." Jack smiled. "Most people do." The young rider nodded. "I thought those tattoos were outdated." Jack raised his arm and looked at the faded ink. "These tattoos remind me of people who can't be here anymore. That's why they matter." The room listened carefully. Jack then addressed the entire club. "Never measure someone by how new their bike is, how expensive their gear looks, or how old their tattoos are." The clubhouse remained silent. Character is earned on the road, not displayed in a mirror. Many members nodded. Some appeared emotional. The president stepped forward and presented Jack with the club's highest honor. Every member stood. One by one, they removed their hats. Then the room erupted into applause. The same people who had mocked the quiet biker were now honoring him as a living legend. As the night ended, Jack walked outside and looked across the rows of motorcycles. The club had changed over the years, but its spirit remained alive. He smiled, started his old motorcycle, and rode into the darkness. This time, every rider watched with respect, because they finally understood that true legends never need to announce who they are. Their actions tell the story long before their names do.